So as you guys know, in one of our previous video, we have created this client and server folders, right? So first of all, let's run this client folder as well as server folder from the command prompt. So as you can see, these two folders are inside this my app folder. Let's open command prompt and go to my app folder and then client folder. Now let's run our client folder by using this npm rundev command. Now let's go to server folder, first my app folder and then server folder. Now let's run our server by using nodemon and then our root file server.js. So now, as you can see, our front end is running on localhost 5173. Let me go to Chrome and type localhost 5173. So this is our output, right? So we have a small problem in our client folder, guys. Let me tell you what is that problem. So in our previous video, I have created an account with this email, right? Namantanparis@gmail. So here, if I enter wrong password like 1234 and click on login button. So just wait until we get a response from the server. It is hanging, guys. I think we got an error from the server. Okay, we are getting parse error in shader constructs allowed also. Okay, currently only this origin can able to send request to our server, guys. As you guys know, in our previous video we have changed the origin with this versal, right? But currently our front end is running on this localhost 5173. So for now we have to give this address. So let me go to server folder and then server.js file. So here inside this origin property we have to update this. For now, let's change this with our localhost 5173. Localhost 5173. Let me close this and open our login component. So here also we have to update our server URL because currently, as you can see, our server URL is running on this port number localhost 4010. Let me copy this and for now just comment this and let's create a variable with name server URL and update the value of this with our localhost address. So now let's send the request again whether we are getting error or not. So if I click on this register button, as you can see, we are getting response from the server like this. So the problem is, see, if I click on this, we are getting this message, but this loading text is still visible after we are getting a response from the server. So this is not a good way to handle this, right? So we have to update this behavior. So for that, let's go to login component. So here we are already in login component. Here we have to update the value of the loading stage inside this handle submit function. So here instead of not loading, let's set this value as true. So once we receive a response from the server, let me remove this return statement. So below this, let's enter the line as return set loading to be false. So once we receive a response from the server, we have to change the value of this loading state to its default state false. So here also I have to update that. Let me cut this from here and then paste it here and set loading to be false. So now if I click on this login button, see, once we get received from the server, the loading text is not coming here, right? So see, we are only getting the loading text when we are waiting for the response from the server. After that, we are having another issue, guys. So if I enter a email which is not existing in our database like this, so if I click on login, see, we are getting this internal server message instead of email not found message. So here we have to send email not found message instead of that. So for that, let me go to server.js file. So where is that login check? So here this is our root, right? So this root is for checking the login component. So here we are not checking the mail. So first we have to check whether the mail is existing or not. For that we can simply use if not. So if the mail entered by user is not found in our database, we are going to return a response to the server. Let's send this message. So here instead of this message, we are going to enter email not found. So now let's go to login component. Here if response dot message is equal to this message email not found, let me copy this and paste it here. We're going to send a toast message with this email not found. and we also have to change the loading state from true to false. Once we receive a response from the server, we have to change the value of the loading state to be false. So now if I click on this login button, see we are getting this message, email not found. Instead of internal server, we are getting this message, email not found. So now let's quickly update the value of the server URL for all the components. As you can see in our register component as well as our verification component, our server URL is currently the render URL, right? But we have to test our server in localhost. So as you can see, currently our server is running on this port number, right? So I have to update the server URL with this URL instead of this render URL. Let me quickly update those values, as well as we have to update this value as well. We have to add this set loading to be false for every component once we receive a response from the server. Now let me quickly update those values. So now I have successfully modified the server URL as well as the loading state in all the components, guys. So now we are going to change our OTP verification page. So let me show you. Let me enter my name, and I'm going to enter my email, which is patients coder. I know, guys, I have already created an account by using this email, but I have deleted this email in my MongoDB Atlas database. That's why I'm entering my this email again. So if I click on register, just wait. See, we are getting redirected to OTP verification, right? So here I want to modify this OTP verification like a slotted OTP verification page. So I'm going to create a slot for every OTP, every digit. We are having 4-digit OTP, right? So I'm going to create 4 digits, 4 slots. So for that, we are going to use ShadCN UI. So to use ShadCN UI, simply go to Chrome and type ShadCN UI or ShadCN. After that, simply click on this link and then click on Get Started. After that, simply go to installation process. So from here, since we are using Vite for front end, I'm going to select Vite. And then we have already created a project by this command, right? We have created our front end by using this command npm create Vite, right? So we don't need to use this command again. Instead, first we have to copy this. Now let's stop our front end, this client folder. Let me stop this and then paste this code. After that, and click on enter. Just wait until it is installed. So now it is successfully installed. After that, we have to copy this second command, npx tailwind css. Let me copy this and paste it here. So now this tailwind.config.js as well as postcss.config.js files are successfully added inside our client folder. So if I extract this client folder, see here we got postcss.config.js file as well as tailwind.config.js file. So after that, simply scroll down and copy this code. So here as you can see, it is tsconfig.json, which means TypeScript. Since we are not using TypeScript, we are going to create jsconfig.json instead of this tsconfig.json. So we have to create jsconfig.json inside this client folder. Let me create jsconfig.json, and inside this we have to copy this code and paste it inside here. And then after that, simply scroll down. So we don't have to install this because it is, as you can see, it is TypeScript, but we are using JS, right? So we have to copy this from here, resolve property to here. Copy this and paste this inside our vite.config.js file. So here we have to paste that. And then after that, here as you can see, we are using path, right? But we have not imported that path. Let me copy the path and paste it here. So after that, scroll down. So now we have to initialize ShadCN in our client folder by using this command. Let me copy this and click on npm and then paste it here. After that, ShadCN UI will be imported inside our client folder. Just wait. So here as you can see, it is asking some questions. Would you like to use TypeScript? Since I am not using TypeScript, select no, and then default, and then slate, and then where is our global.css file. So our global.css file is this one, index.css. As you can see, it is inside our source folder, right? Index.css. So I have to enter src and then index.css, and then click on enter. Would you like to use css variables? Okay, yes. Leave it blank. Click on enter and then enter, and then enter. Are you using React server components? No, we are not using that. So select no and then proceed. So as you can see, it is installing the dependencies. Just wait. So now as you can see, Shadcn is successfully completed, initialized inside our client folder. So now we can use all the components which are inside Shadcn. So let me go to Shadcn website. So here as you can see, click on this component section. So these are all the components. Here all these are components. You can use anything you want. Switch like airplane mode. So here as you can see, we are having a component input OTP. Click on this. So scroll down. We are not going to use this style. So we are going to, let me check it. Scroll. Okay, we are going to use this style. So simply click on this code button. So we have to copy this from this div tag. Before copying, we have to first install this input OTP component. So for that, here as you can see, we have to run this command npx shadcn UI at the latest add input OTP. So by adding this command, we can able to get this input OTP inside our client folder. So now let's copy this command and then paste it inside our command prompt. Let me clear the screen and then paste it. So after that, this input OTP component will be initialized inside our client folder. Just wait. See, it is saying that done. So now if I open VS Code, so inside this component folder, as you can see, we got a folder with name UI. So this UI folder is coming from Shadcn UI. So inside that, as you can see, we have installed input OTP component, right? And it is showing here. So whatever components you install from this Shadcn UI, all those components will be stored inside this UI folder. So you can simply able to know which components you have installed from Shadcn inside this UI folder. So now we can simply copy our code. So let's scroll down. So I want to use this style. So I'm going to click on this code button. After that, let's copy from this div tag to here. Now let's paste this code inside our verification component. Let me close all files and only open verification component. Where is that verification? Here. So now I'm going to cut this, guys, and then, sorry, not cut, guys. So here we don't need this input and button. Let me cut this and paste this code. So now if we open our front end, if I click on refresh, see, we are getting some errors because, okay, we have not run our file. Sorry guys, we have to use npm run the command. So now let me click on refresh. See, we are not getting anything because we have to import this component. So for that, simply remove the last letter for every component and then enter that again. See, we are getting recommendations from VS Code by. So if I click on this, as you can see, input OTP is successfully imported. And then we also need to this group folder. We have to import this group folder as well. So if I click on this, it is imported. Now click on this input OTP slot, and then that's it, I think. So now if I click on refresh, I think we can able to see those. Still we are not getting that, guys. Let me click on console. We are getting some errors. Value is not defined. Okay guys, we have to copy the state variable as well. As you can see, we are having a state variable here, value and then set value. Simply copy this and paste it inside here. So now let me click on refresh again. See, we got that. But as you can see, our styles are changed, right? So earlier our background color is some light black, but now it is changed from black to white. So let me show you why these styles are coming. So for that, let me go to index.css file. So here, as you can see, we got some default styles. So the styles are coming from Shadcn. Let me show you why those styles are coming. So let me go to installation process. So here, after we write these two commands, the styles which are given by Wheat are replaced with the Shadcn website. See, we got Tailwind, but we have not used Tailwind yet, right? But here, the wheat styles are replaced with Stadsian styles. So from here, some default styles are applied for this body. You can see. So let me remove this. We don't need this. So if you see the output, see still it's not getting changed. So now we have to give the default styles given by wheat. So at this point, I have not pushed my updated changes to my GitHub repository. So let me go to GitHub repository. So this is our repository, right? We have linked this repository for our client folder. Let me click on this, and then let's go to index.css file, index.css. So here, as you can see, these are our default styles which came from Vite. But here, as you can see, after we run this command, these styles are replaced with these styles. So now instead of these styles, let's copy our Vite styles. So let me copy all this code and then paste it here. So now if you check the output, see we got the default styles which are given by Vite. But here as you can see, these slots are not centered in the document, right? We have to make this to be centered. So for that, let me go to verification component. So here, this input OTP group is our slot container. So here as you can see, I have given a class name as OTP group. Let me go to index.css file, not index.css file, verification.css file. So now let's select this input OTP group component with class name OTP group, form.otp group. Let's add the margin as auto. So that slot will be centered. So now as you can see, the slots are centered. But here as you can see, we are having 6 slots, but we are only generating 4-digit OTP, right? So we have to remove 2 slots from this verification component. Let me remove these 2 slots. And then we have to change this max length of 6 to 4. So now if you see the output, as you can see, we are only getting 4-digit OTP. So now here as you can see below this enter or on time password text, we don't have any button, right? So let's add a button below this. So if it is loading, we are going to display loading text. Otherwise, we are going to display verify. So now if you see the output, see we got the button, but it is not taking the full width, right? So let's add the full width. So here as you can see, our button is inside our verification container. So let me go to verification.css file. As you can see, our maximum width of the verification container is 400 pixels. That's why this width is 400 pixels. So now I want to occupy this button to its full width. So for that, let me add that button and give the width as 100%. So by giving 100% width, it will take the full width, which is 400 pixels. So now if you see the output, see the verify button takes the full width. So after that, we have to update this user OTP variable, guys. Now we don't need this user OTP variable because we are not adding any input tag, right? We are only using this input OTP component which is given by Stadsian. So now we have to remove this user OTP and update this user OTP value with our value, this one. So whatever you enter inside this OTP slots, that value will be stored inside this value state variable. So I have to update this user OTP with value. So here as you can see, we are sending our user OTP. We are sending the OTP entered by user to the server as well in the body, as you can see. So here we have to update this value with user OTP to value. So now we don't need this. So let's check whether it's working or not. So let me check my email whether I got an OTP or not. I got an OTP which is 1865. So if I enter wrong password like 1866, if I click on verify, see we are getting this message incorrect OTP. So if we enter correct OTP, we are getting redirected to the home page. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you will understand this video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.